Drop 'em. One hook and I'll rock 'em. One more and I'll stop 'em. Call the fighter, I'll lock 'em. Up 'em. If he reach, then I'll pop 'em. Street sweeper, I'll wash 'em. Homicide, come and chalk 'em. Drop 'em. One hook and I'll rock 'em. One more and I'll stop 'em. Call the fighter, I'll lock 'em. Up 'em.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is can Jarrett Big Baby Anderson beat the top 10? Yesterday, he beat Jerry Forrest, who's a pretty solid pro, and he's given fighters like Zhang and Michael Hunter trouble. And Jarrett, the real Big Baby Anderson, was able to get him out in the second round. So we're asking the step-up question, seeing as how Jarrett Big Baby Anderson won his step-up fight, which is can Jarrett, the real Big Baby Anderson, beat the top 10? We are going to start with Frank Sanchez. Conspiracy, do you think Jarrett Big Baby Anderson?
That's going to be a good fight. That'll be a good fight. I say that one's 50-50. Good fight, though, but 50-50.
Yo, G, can you take down the banner real quick just because you can't see the TBE? All right. TB in the building. All right. Trill Dollar Bill, do you think that Jarrett Anderson will beat Frank Sanchez? I mean, we're not saying that it's not 100% right now. We're just judging. You know how it is. You're good at your last performance. And
I mean, at the last performances, if I have to judge the last performance, then yeah. Yeah, I think he can be.
Where was that Frank's last performance?
Yeah, bring that Frank from his last performance, especially when we was at. You know what I mean? Bring that Frank and baby will get him out of there.
Nah, but I'll say this. What Frank brings though, his footwork, I haven't seen Big Baby against a guy that moves like Frank yet. You know what I mean? That's why I'm like, I don't know. That's something that, you know, I haven't seen him in the ring with. So that's why I give Sanchez like a good chance.
Who'd you pick, Big Baby or Sanchez?
I said it was 50-50, so I'm if I had to pick, I'm
saying what kind of crap is that? You used to get
I'm gonna pick Big Baby. I'm gonna pick Big Baby, but I'm just saying it ain't like an easy, like it's gonna be a wash. It's gonna be a tough
pick Big Baby. All right. Nether TVE.
Against Frank Sanchez, I like Frank Sanchez, man. I love him, man. Yo, but I don't want to give like a simple answer, but I feel like it's like Frank Sanchez's style is complicated for everybody. Like, you know, you want to see him like go in there and dominate, but he plays too easy. And Jarrett Big Baby Anderson, he's a stick of dynamite. You throw him in there, he's gonna pop off. But I feel like Frank matches his competition. Like the last fight, we all saw. Some people were booing, but he was taking the guy's head off. Like I was entertained.
It wasn't some. It was a lot of people, bro. Watch your mouth, man.
Yeah, I wasn't booing Frank, but you know,
Trill made him do it.
I can. If you heard me clear, I said take his head off, Frank. Like at one point in the fight, well, you know, it didn't happen. But yo, Frank's a killer. Right? As calm and neutral as he seems, he's a killer. And I say this. Oh man, I can't pick. I was
like, yo, is this internet down or something?
Nah, I can't pick between the two, man. It's tough. I like my guy Frank. I like Big Baby Anderson. I'm gonna go. It's neutral. It's down the middle.
You're not gonna make a pick, bro.
It's down the middle. That's my pick. Down the middle. It's up in the air for them.
Oh, you gonna pick a draw? What you doing?
Yeah, not a draw. It's down the middle right now. It's down the middle.
I'm gonna let Ned be Ned because I might. All right, look, for me, I think that Jarrett Big Baby Anderson would win this fight. I think that Frank Sanchez is a lot older than they list him. And I feel like, you know, his highlight of his career was beating F.A. Ajapa, who, you know, we talk about on the show a lot. I don't really place that much stock in F.A. Ajapa. I think F.A. Ajapa was a soccer player who had great athleticism. And I guess he wasn't as good in soccer. So they said, oh, well, boxing may be a sport you can succeed in. And so he's learning on a job. But I don't think Efe Ajapa is ever going to be good enough to compete with the elite boxers and the elite athletically gifted fighters that are in the sport of boxing. So for that reason, I don't really rate Frank Sanchez's best victory that high. And I think that what I saw Jarrett Big Baby Anderson do to Jerry Forrest was more impressive because of how competitive Jerry Forrest has been with some of the fighters who are currently ranked, and particularly a fighter who I think I saw Jerry Forrest give Zhang a hard time, and I believe that Zhang beat Flip Herkovich. So just the triangle theory doesn't work in boxing, but what it does do is show you who's battle tested and who isn't. Jerry Forrest is battle tested, and I've never seen a heavyweight, or I haven't seen a heavyweight take out Jerry Forrest the way that Jared Anderson did. So for me, I would favor Jared Anderson over Frank Sanchez. We understand that it's a close fight and it can go any way. Frank Sanchez is very talented. That's why we're asking, can he beat the top 10? I think he can beat Frank Sanchez. Moving on to Flip Herkovich. Do you believe that Jared Big Baby Anderson can beat Flip Herkovich? G.
Herkovich shouldn't even be in the top 10. So my answer is hell yeah. I don't even know how Herkovich got here. You know what I'm saying? Like this is crazy. You know what I mean? But Anderson will body bag this guy.
All right, Dollar Bill.
I'm with you, G. You just got more tools than him. I'm with you.
All right, TVE.
Man, no, I'm playing. I think Big Baby Anderson. I think Big Baby Anderson's gonna body this man, easy. Wash him up clean. Like, if anything, if Herkovich out here sticking his chest out, take the fight, Anderson. Take the fight.
Yeah, I think that this guy's hyped up off a sparring video with Deontay Wilder, and that his claim to fame is that I guess he won a round against Wilder in sparring or something. But I've seen him in real fights, and I haven't been impressed. And I think that Jared Big Baby Anderson will demolish this dude. All right, so we're moving on to G's, one of G's favorite fighters. Heavyweight division. Joseph Parker, Conspiracy G. Do you think I have a feeling I know what G's going to say, but Conspiracy G, do you think that the real Big Baby Anderson, can beat Joseph Parker?
All right, yo, listen. Me and Joseph Parker, we have a history, but I will say this: Can I answer it like pre George Joyce, or it has to be post George Joyce?
Well, we're asking if they fight, so it's going to be post George Joyce, but you can give your opinion on if it was pre George Joyce.
I think it was pre George Joyce. I think Joseph Parker will win. Post George Joyce, yo, man, I have to be honest. Although Joseph Parker is way more experienced, and that's the only reason why I'm like, Joseph Parker could edge it, but he took so much damage against George Joyce in that last fight, and he already was on some it sounded like he wasn't really like, I want to be a champion again. I just want to be an actor. I don't think he really has the stomach for boxing anymore like that, to be honest. So I think Anderson could pull it off by split decision against Joseph Parker. But if it was before George Joyce, I think Joseph Parker could have won by decision, because I don't think Joseph Parker is really a killer like that anymore. He doesn't really have the killer instinct, and I think he'll be afraid of Anderson's power, but he'll just stick and move, and it'll just be a boring fight. But after George Joyce, I don't think he even has that in him anymore. So, yeah, Anderson by split decision.
Dollar Bill.
I agree and I disagree with G. I agree with Joe Joyce changed Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker will never be the same. After that fight, we had our reaction. And I said, after that, that's the type of fight, one of those fights that changes fighters, right? The beating, right? That was one of them. He will never be the same. This is where we disagree with. You said it'll be a split decision, and Anderson will win. I think he stops Joseph Parker.
Oh.
I think he ends up stopping Joseph Parker from the beating that he took from Joe Joyce. I think that's gonna linger over like a bad hangover, right? And it's gonna hurt him. You know, I just don't think he'll be the same after that beating that he took from Joe Joyce, and that's what we agree on. But I think he stops him. I think he already been tenderized, and it's a wrap.
Tenderize the lamb, as G called it.
Joe Joyce already tenderized the lamb.
Slaughter, baby, to the slaughter.
Slaughter now. He's just a name now. Anybody that hits him, he's shelling up and he's going down. All thanks to Joe Joyce. The end of careers.
All right. TBE.
I agree with my co-host. I feel Joseph Parker is in he's in the twilight zone when it comes to Joe Joyce. And it's not because he lost, but it's because he came in thinking he can outbox, he's faster. You know, you saw the little video he made. It was like, no, this is an actual, like, you know, the time frame. Like when Joe Joyce
watch his mouth.
Yeah. So I feel like Joseph Parker is just stuck on how did I lose to Joe Joyce? Like, you know, he saw all the punches coming, and it you know, so I don't think he's ready, mentally prepared to take on a Jared Anderson. So I'm picking Jared Anderson off of that straight. And get well soon, Joe Joyce. Joseph Parker. You'll get out of there one day. He's in the Joe Joyce sunken place. He's stuck there. I feel he's stuck there, like, because when you talk that type of trash and you get embarrassed like that, it's gonna take you some time. And I think he's watching that fight. He watches that fight every day. Like, how did I lose? How did I lose? How did I lose? But, yeah.
I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tro.
I said he know how he lost. He felt that.
Yeah, I think you know, Jared Anderson's hungry at this point in his career. I feel like Joseph Parker has been heavyweight champion. And he fought Dillian White, he fought Anthony Joshua, he fought Joe Joyce. I think he's had his moments in boxing, and I think he's comfortable with where he's at in boxing. I say that because he went to camp with Fury, and you can tell that, like, he's taking advice from Fury. Fury helped him pick his trainer, and it just seems like he's resigned to the fact that he's okay with being, you know, a top talent, but maybe not championship level. And like you pointed out, G, he makes a lot of like videos that look like he's auditioning to get in movies. So maybe he's trying to transition to the next phase of his career, and he's trying to become an actor. So, you know, whatever he's looking for, God bless him. But as far as boxing goes, I just don't feel as though Joseph Parker would be able to beat Jared Big Baby Anderson based on his last performance. Both of their last performance. I think that I would roll with Jared Big Baby Anderson. So we're moving on to King Kong, Luis Ortiz, Kaspira G.
Nah, I'm be honest. I think Ortiz will beat him right now, and it's only because of his inexperience. And here's why: when he fought Forrest, and he was like teeing off on Forrest, I was like, why is Forrest allowing so many shots before he throws a counter? And every time Forrest did throw a counter, he did land. Ortiz isn't going to allow him to just tee off like that. So Ortiz is going to come with a counter himself. My thing is, can Ortiz handle Anderson's power? But I will say this. I think Ortiz can handle his pressure. So that won't be the issue. It's, can Anderson handle Ortiz's pressure? And I think that's where he comes. A lot of all the guys from 7 up, I think he's going to have that issue is, can he handle a guy throwing as hard as he is? Can he take that? Can he handle that? And when I see what happened with Forrest, like, and his trainers was like, oh, you know, when he gets hit, he gets mad. And then when he gets mad, he just goes for the kill. That's reckless, especially at this level. You know, like you can't lower your defenses because you're upset. So I think all of these guys now moving up, when they hit him, he's going to get upset and he's going to try to go for the kill. And that's where he's going to get clipped. So I'm just going to be honest right now. Oh, hold on. Whoa. Oh, Dillian White's in here. Oh, hold on. Let me take that back. Minus Dillian White. The rest of these guys are going to beat my man, Big Baby, right now.
All right, Dollar Bill.
Luis Ortiz. No, I got Big Baby beating him. I got Big Baby beating. He got youth, and I just think the time and everything is right. He's just Luis age, and the kid. I think the kid. It shit out.
All right, TBE.
Now I agree with Trill. Nowadays, the youth don't got no respect for their elders, man. So it's gonna be a beat, beating for Luis Ortiz, man. I feel like he'll hang with him first couple rounds, but Anderson's gonna get the best of him, and you're gonna see Ortiz is gonna just show his age, and you know, experience isn't enough to like compete with that type of fighter Anderson is.
All right. Listen, I got Big Baby, man. Time is ticking. And there's only a matter of time before people figure out that Luis Ortiz and Frank Sanchez are brothers. But before we get into that, you know what I mean? They're 2 years apart. You know what I mean? Of course, King Kong's the older brother. But the point that I'm making is I think Luis Ortiz is getting older, and I don't expect him to get better as he ages. Whereas I hear what you're saying, G, about Big Baby Anderson taking counter punches from Jerry Forrest, but just because he was willing to take those risks against Jerry Forrest, it doesn't mean he would take those same risks against Luis Ortiz. You understand, like, the caliber of opponent that you're fighting. And I've seen him be more patient. I think it was one of those things where he knew the scouting report. He knew he needed to jump on Jerry Forrest early. I don't know if you remember this, but Jerry Forrest gets hurt early, recovers, and then he gives people a hard time later. So I just think it was a matter of him understanding his assignment and going out there and getting it done. So it's a shout out to him. But I think the more Jerry Forrest is one of those fighters where the longer you let him stick around, the more confident he becomes. So I think that's why he jumped on Jerry Forrest that way. But I got Big Baby Anderson. All right. I know you already said who you got, G, but Dillian White.
Yeah, I got Big Baby on that one. And for obvious reasons, you know, like, although Dillian does have the reach advantage, Dillian doesn't really utilize it well. And I just feel with Anderson's athleticism and pressure, it'll be too much for Dillian. Now, again, similar to what I said with Ortiz, but however, I believe Anderson's IQ won't allow him to just try to tee off on Dillian White, because he knows he has to expect the left hook counter is coming. So he'll be prepared for that. And all he has to do is really just hit him with the jab and the straight right. And he just does that all night. He could possibly just knock him out that way. And, you know, maybe even throwing that uppercut, because you know his chin is suspect. But nonetheless, I feel like Anderson utilizes so many tools that I don't see Dillian White really winning. And Dillian White's going to get knocked out.
Dollar Bill.
Ref stops the fight. Anderson wins. Accumulation of punches. Because Dillian's probably he's gonna try to stand up because he ain't gonna want the young kid to knock him out. So the ref's gonna have to step in and save him. So stoppage, ref.
So Jared Anderson stoppage. That's how Trill has it. TBE.
I want to give Dillian a break. His last two opponents were pretty, like, they were tough. They were tough. Like he took on Tyson Fury, but he fought Tyson Fury at the wrong moment and with the wrong mindset. I feel like he wanted his title shot so bad that he would he was rushing to get it instead of preparing himself. I think that's humbled Dillian a little bit. Dillian has a little arrogance. I don't know what comes from Dillian, but the arrogance is like it's a little bit much. Like when you had your first loss against AJ, you were what was it? You thought you had him because you beat him in the amateurs. And you were bringing up things like he wore my pair of jeans. You bring in relevant information that doesn't have to do what goes on in the ring. And his mind's never in the ring. But if Dillian's focused, he can really do damage. So I'm not saying it's an easy opponent for Jared Anderson. It's gonna be a tough fight. I don't say it's gonna end by knockout, but it can end out by knockout. But however, Dillian is a tough opponent for Jared Anderson. Go ahead, G.
Can I ask a question, Ned? Who will win? Big Baby Anderson or what's homeboy that just fought Dillian White? What's his name?
Tyson Fury.
Oh, Jermaine Franklin.
Jermaine Franklin. Who you think will win in that fight?
Jared Anderson.
Well, why?
Who the heck is Jermaine Franklin?
Jermaine Franklin was the guy that it was a controversial victory for Dillian White. He gave literally Dillian White all he can handle. And if you think Big Baby's better than Franklin, I don't know how you got Dillian White over Anderson. I'm just
saying, when we have a focus and train Dillian White, he is a dangerous animal. That's all I'm saying. He's a different beast in the ring when he's focused. We get different glimpses of Dillian. Different glimpses. Dillian that got knocked out by Povetkin, Dillian that knocked out Povetkin were two different. Maximum violence, he wear that for a reason. But I ain't seen maximum violence in a while. But Dillian, and I'm gonna take Anderson by decision, not by knockout, by decision. Close.
You did all that to pick Anderson. All right.
Yeah.
You still pick Anderson? Oh,
yeah. But I'm just saying, Dillian is a dangerous fighter still. I'm just saying, he can still show out against some of these guys on
heavyweight division. Everyone dangerous, bro.
All right. So for me, I think he'll beat Dillian White. I just don't think Dillian White is the same. I think he's had too many concussions, and he had a very tough fight with Jermaine Franklin, and I think that Big Baby Anderson's a better talent. So I think Big Baby Anderson will beat him. All right, for the sake of time, Conspiracy G, you already kind of went through it, but
I could be quick with Andy Ruiz. I think
I think run through the top 5.
All right, so I'm gonna say this: he ain't beating none of these top 5, and the reason why is because I think with Andy Ruiz, Anderson's style is perfect for Andy Ruiz. He's a big guy that wants to move forward, and then Andy Ruiz, who's flat-footed but excellent with counters. It's a horrible matchup for Big Baby. Big Baby will lose. Joe Joyce would just muscle him in the ring, and it'll be accumulation of punishment. And I feel like AJ, Deontay Wilder, and Tyson Fury, they'll just use their size advantage to hurt this guy and then knock him out. Usyk, though,
What's up, G? What's up, G?
Hold on. Let me be real.
I'm out of here, yo.
Keep it real, G.
Wow,
keep it real, G.
I'm keeping it real. Usyk's gonna obviously still win, but it's gonna be hard for Usyk. But Usyk's gonna just confuse him with the angles, and I feel like Anderson's not experienced with that yet. But I kind of feel like in time, as Anderson takes on more top fighters, and I think when he fights more Cuban-style fighters and more Eastern European fighters, he's going to learn to dance with them better. And I think a couple more years, he'll be ready for Alexander Usyk level. But as of right now, Usyk will win. So
Usyk will be retired.
Well, then, hey, it is what it is, man. This is why this is fantasy picking, right? You know what I'm saying? But right now, Usyk got it.
Right now, G, that he could take him right now, G?
Nah, not right now.
On, G.
I have to be honest. I'm being honest, man. Not right now, bro.
What, the soup too spicy?
No,
Yeah.
hold up. Jared Anderson versus Joe Joyce.
Joe Joyce will body him, bro. Joe Joyce will actually. I don't even. If I was Anderson's handlers, we're not even entertaining Joe Joyce right now because that could be a career ender for this guy who's a prospect right now. It's not fair.
All right, Dollar Bill, man, run through Jared Anderson versus the top 5. How do you see that playing out?
Well, the top 5. I think he fares well with Andy Ruiz. I think that's a good fight. I still, Andy Ruiz is quick with those insides and with the counters. But it's still a fight that Big Baby can win on a decision. Stay away from Joe Joyce. Stay away from Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. All you gotta do is worry about one punch. And if you can't worry about that, stay away from Deontay Wilder right now. Stay away from Tyson Fury, and definitely stay away from Alexander. It's just too much right there.
All right, TBE, Jared versus the top 5.
Yeah, he's top 5 is some killers, man. I just don't see how he could take on Andy Ruiz. I could see if he implements the strategies others have used against Andy Ruiz, he can be victorious against him. But because he's so young and he shows that he can get emotional in the ring, I feel like Andy Ruiz can get the best of him. So I'm picking Ruiz. Joe Joyce is a tank, man. You gotta come with grenades in your gloves, nuclear weapons gloves. You gotta come with extra military graded loaded gloves to take on Joe Joyce. You have to bring backup because it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be World War Joyce out here, man, because Joyce is a terror right now. So I don't know, unless he has those type of equipments with him, he's not beating Joe Joyce. Joshua, I don't see him. He's just not ready for Joshua. He's not ready for the likes of Wilder either, or Tyson Fury. And other than Usyk is special, like Joe says, he's special. And I think it'll be a learn. If he was to fight out of all of them, if he ever has a title shot against Usyk, it'll be a learning experience where he learns he has to better his game, and I think that will catapult him to a better fighter than what he is now. But
I agree with that.
I agree. TBE, oh snap! Go ahead, TBE.
Finally,
cooking on
wisdom.
We cooking, the pots. We ain't the only chef on the show.
All right, so Andy Ruiz, I think Jared Big Baby Anderson has a good chance of pulling off the fight. I still wouldn't pick him to win the fight, but I think when you look at the way Anthony Joshua was able to beat Andy Ruiz in Saudi Arabia, if he's able to implement that type of style, which he shows the ability to do it, I think he can win. Now, the downside and where I think Andy Ruiz has the advantage is experience, but also Andy Ruiz, his counterpunching is exceptional. We haven't seen Jared Big Baby Anderson in there with anyone with that type of hand speed and that ability to counter. And as far as hand speed and countering goes, it's arguably Andy Ruiz is the fastest in the division. We don't know. You can't really tell until you see everyone in the ring, but you do know who has fast hands, and Andy Ruiz definitely does. So I would favor Ruiz. Joe Joyce, don't do it. Don't do it. Joe Joyce would have to have like a belt. He would have to be mandatory, and even then I would have to want to keep the belt to even fight Joe Joyce. Like, don't do it. Avoid Joe Joyce. But if he does step in the ring, the guillotine is coming down. Anthony Joshua is very skilled, very polished, powerful. You look at some of the punches that Jerry Forrest was able to land on Big Baby when he was going in for the kill. Again, I doubt he would go in for the kill against Anthony Joshua that way. But it really wouldn't matter because Joshua's shown the ability to set up. People talk about the fact he lost to Usyk, but he gave Usyk a tough fight. in my opinion, both times, but definitely the second fight. And Anthony Joshua was a very talented fighter. Deontay Wilder. I see and I envision a fight in which Jared, the real Big Baby Anderson, is beating Deontay Wilder on the scorecards like so many of us. And then that moment comes where Wilder catches him and he's on the floor and everyone's saying, "Oh my God, did you see that?" It's just a matter of time before the bomb detonates. And I think he's going to have to work on focus and not getting hit. He's going to have to be defensively sound to beat Wilder. And if he's not, then he's going to go out. Tyson Fury, I'll be honest, I don't think he has a chance in hell of beating Tyson Fury. And he probably knows that when he flew back from the UK after that sparring session with Tyson Fury.
Spanking.
He don't have a chance in hell at beating the Gypsy King. You have no shot. Trust me, you don't want that fight. And Bob Arum knows better than to make that fight for you right now. So keep building your name before you even think about taking that fight. And even then, you better let Fury, you better let it a few years pass before you try to jump in there with Fury. And Jared Big Baby Anderson against Alexander Usyk, I think the same thing. I think that he would get outclassed. I think that Usyk would, outbox him, spin him around. I think Usyk would, probably like 9-3. I don't see a 10-2, but I think 9-3, 8-4, win 9 rounds, win 8 rounds against Jared Big Baby Anderson. I think he needs more schooling. I think he needs to fight more talented boxers, to prepare him for that moment. So I don't think he can beat the top 5, but I think he's on his way to being competitive and possibly being able to beat some of the top fighters in the division.
Well, his next fight should be with Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, right.
Why not? Yeah. Or Chisora.
Nah, Daniel Dubois. They're not giving him Daniel Dubois. Frank's not giving him Daniel Dubois. Frank just paid the ref and everyone else. You kidding?
That's free fish and chips, bro. They're not gonna do that.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter, and please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing.